That's right. Welcome in to another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast presented by No Vape Idaho here on IdahoSports.com. No Vape, Idaho Public Television's campaign to raise awareness about the dangers of youth vaping. Be smart, don't start. We are here to break down District 5 and 6 activities week in, week out in the great state of Idaho. My name is Brandon Baney. We are joined by our East Idaho expert, Sean Kane. What's up, Sean?
Hey, it's Showtime. Sean's here. I like the new intro, so I just thought I'd roll with it. Showtime, Sean.
No?
Okay.
The thing about a nickname though is it has to happen organically. You can't just say, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't just say,
well, there goes my notes.
Oh, that's great.
Just joking. Hey. No, everything's good. Now I dropped them, but they were actually notes. It wasn't just a prop. No, everything's good. It's just there's been a lot going on as far as sports. It's going. There's lots of things are happening, and we're gonna get into it. So that's really my intro. Is we got to get into it. We got to look at these brackets. We've got to know what's happening. We got to show where you were wrong, I was right. That's what
Can't wait.
Things like that. I mean, I'm very rarely right, but yeah, I'm excited to just kind of see this conclusion of the girls and see who punches tickets, right?
Yep, it's all about punching tickets now. In the chat on Twitter, Sam Buffington. Sam, what's up? Good to see you.
Yeah, he said he had to work with you, and I, told him it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Not only a special type of person can work with me. I'm such an egomaniac. If you want to be like Sam and join in the conversation here, throw a comment up on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook, and we'll throw it up on the screen and talk about it. You can also listen to this podcast at IdahoSports.com and wherever you download and subscribe to podcasts. All right, we are going to try and go quickly through everything today, Sean, because I know you've got to go soon. We are recording this on Thursday afternoon, February 8th. Tonight, East Idaho game night. It is the District 6 championship game in 4A girls basketball. You and Joel Richardson. Joel's going to be on the play-by-play. You will be on color. And so I figured let's start there as we take a look at all of the district tournament brackets here. Again, I will share them up on my screen, and then you can follow along that way if you're listening audio only. It's all good. We have all the district brackets on our homepage at IdahoSports.com. So here it is tonight, High Country Conference championship game. It's game 7 of the bracket, which sounds cool because in professional sports, game 7.
This all comes down to this.
Right. This is the third time that Shelley and Blackfoot will play each other this year. Blackfoot, the 3 seed, Shelley, the 1 seed. The most notable development was Blackfoot traveling to the Taj McGrizz last Thursday after we recorded and knocking off the Grizz 72-66. So now you've got Skyline fighting for their lives tonight as well at the Taj McGrizz against Bonneville, the 5 seed. Winner of that will play the loser of Shelley and Blackfoot. But the winner of this game tonight, Sean, wins the district title, advances to state. The last time these two teams played on IdahoSports.com, it was a 2-point win for Shelley. And let's not forget, last year, these teams played in the district championship. Shelley had come in undefeated, and it was Blackfoot who defeated Shelley in the district title game. There is so much on the line tonight, and I'm so glad we're going to be able to broadcast it.
Yeah, it's the game I think you wanted, right? You think back to last year, Blackfoot upsetting Shelley. Blackfoot has a lot to prove. They want to get back to state and show what they can do. And then Shelley, they want that district title. I think that's sitting deep in their minds from last year that they didn't come away with that. They made it all the way to the championship game, but I'm pretty sure the Russets want, to be cutting down nets tonight. And it's just a good game. It's two teams that match up just incredibly well against each other. There's just matchup nightmares all over when you look at it. And both teams are very well coached. Amy Odom of Blackfoot and Jessica Carlson of Shelley, and it just should be exciting. And and both teams have their own reasons of why they want to win this game, right? And I think it'll just be great tonight.
Okay, Sean, here's what I need you to find out tonight. Last year.
I already know what you're going to ask me.
Oh, okay. What am I going to ask you?
There's no orange peel.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
But there's still a fortune cookie. So the Shelley Russets have some superstitions, and they still crush a fortune cookie before the game and read it, I guess. And we'll get into, I don't want to give everything away.
Okay.
You got to tune in later, but that's still there. And, whose fortune is going to come true tonight? Are the Broncos going to punch their ticket on their fortune, or is Shelley going to get that district title that narrowly escaped them last year? Tune in to find out. 7:00 East Idaho game night.
Wow, you should write the promos. I couldn't have described that any better. So, okay, we'll leave a few tasty crumbs here for the broadcast tonight. But yes, last year Shelley did have a lucky orange peel for good luck. Sounds like maybe some different traditions this year. Hey, here's your partner, Joel. Spoiler, tune in at 7 for more. Yes, okay. Yeah, we can't give away all the secrets here. Bottom line, between Shelley and Blackfoot, and we figure Skyline's going to win this game over here. 3 really good quality teams, all deserving to go to state. Only 2 are going to get to punch their ticket. If we are able to broadcast this game Saturday, we are going to on IdahoSports.com. At least we're going to try to. But we have to wait and see what the matchup actually is first. But those 3 teams all fighting to the finish. It's going to be really fun. All right. Also in 4A hoops, Sean, District 5 district championship tonight could be number 1 Pocatello hosting number 2 Preston. If Pocatello wins tonight, they're going on to state. They're the district champs. If Preston wins, sets up this, if necessary, game 5, that would be Saturday night at 7:00, and that would be a huge atmosphere. But I mean, just looking at this, realistically, we like Pocatello pretty heavily. They beat Preston twice in the regular season. The game I want to highlight here, Sean, was this loser out game between Century and Preston. After Century went to Preston in the tournament opener and won 44-37 over here, this game went to overtime Tuesday night at the Snake Pit at Century High. Preston won 43-42 in OT. Sean, you are the PA announcer at Century High School. You had the best seat in the house. What happened?
Well, Preston led the whole game, right? They're up by about 11, maybe a minute 30 left. 2 of Preston's best ball handlers foul out. Century scratches their way back in to get it to overtime. Preston scores that first basket in overtime and really never looks back. I don't believe Century ever led. They had 1 tie. That was to get it to overtime. Reagan Trolson of Century had a chance to win it at the end with a 3-pointer. Couldn't hit it, but it was just a scrappy. I think there was 55 jump balls. And I don't have that stat, but there were so many jump balls. Everyone was hustling. The Pocatello girls team was in attendance. They were like cheering and gasping for all the things that were happening. Couldn't believe Century came back with such a short time left, but it was a good game, and it showed some competitiveness of Preston. But with that all being said, it's going to be a very tough feat for Preston to go to the Palace and find a way to beat this Pocatello team, which I think is kind of under the radar when we talk about 4A. When we look at 4A, I think you hear Sandpoint, you hear Shelley a lot, also Blackfoot Skyline, but this Pocatello team is built to cause some problems later on if they're able to finish it tonight.
Yeah, Pocatello, the one thing they've been able to say this year is they beat Sandpoint
decisively.
Yeah. I mean, pretty convincingly. It was day 3 of the East Idaho Holiday Shootout at the end of December up there in Idaho Falls. But, Sandpoint is the defending champs, and Pocatello is the one team in 4A that can look and say, hey, we were able to beat those girls earlier this year. So Kenna Garza, of course, tremendous junior post, 6'3", just an imposing presence down low. Sean, she crossed 1,000 points in her career recently.
Yeah, 1,000 points, only a junior. That's pretty big. A lot of time that's a senior attribute that you're hearing. And the way she can score down low, she'll be, she's got a whole nother season. So it'll be very interesting to see where that ends up next year, I think. Right. But congrats to her doing it as a junior. I don't think we hear that 1,000-point come out very, very often for junior girls.
Yeah, and speaking of 1,000-point club, on the boys' side, we're going to talk a little bit of boys basketball today. I did get the heads up from a Bear Lake fan that Bryson Crane from Bear Lake is probably going to cross 1,000 points in Bear Lake's next contest, but they said they'd keep me updated on when it actually happened. And I think next year, Sean, we just didn't have enough time to put it together this year, but I think next year, maybe we'd like to keep a list of everyone that crosses 1,000 points, on the season, kind of
in
the 1,000
in the record book, right?
Well, yes, the record book is not going to be ready like next year, right? It's going to take, it's going to take a long time to put that together, but in the short term, have sort of 1,000-point club. And also in wrestling, we'd like to kind of have the 100 career win club too, to go hand in hand with that. So, anyways, just stuff we're kind of kicking around right now in the old idea tank. But Pocatello, Preston tonight at Pocatello High should be a fantastic battle. The other district championship that we'll be broadcasting tonight on IdahoSports.com, Sean, 1A D1. This is the High Desert Conference. Number 1, Grace. Number 2, Butte County. It's not like they match up in every championship. It seems like for every sport. They did play last Saturday at Thunder Ridge in the undefeated semifinal. Grace picked up I'll be honest, a tighter than I thought it was going to be 45-33 win. They won by 12. Butte County almost didn't get back. They beat Chalice by only 2 on Monday night just to get here. And it's kind of the same deal as with Pokey. If Grace wins, they're the district champs. They move on to state tonight. If Butte County wins, it forces this. You got to scroll down here. It forces this winner. Now I went too far. Okay. Winner take all game 7 Friday night at Thunder Ridge High School. I like Grace in this matchup, but I will admit 12 points in the undefeated semifinal did open my eyes a little bit.
I mean, you've got, Grace and Butte County playing for something very meaningful. I think you throw out whatever your preconceptions are, right? If Butte County won, would you be surprised? No. If Grace takes care of business, would you be surprised? No. I think you've just got two teams that know each other very well. You're going to have this matchup, and a lot of times these games come down to, coaching. Maybe they found something they can change. Maybe you can address some things that way, but at the end of the day, I think Grace is the team to beat, and I think they'll come through, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup. This is tonight on IdahoSports.com as well, 7 o'clock from Thunder Ridge High. Tim Belknap and Josh McGauley will be on the call for that one. So 2 district championships tonight on IdahoSports.com, both tipping off at 7 o'clock. Blackfoot at Shelley, and also Butte County versus Grace, live and free. Doesn't cost you anything to watch those and tune in tonight. So it's going to be a good night of girls hoops on IdahoSports.com. All right, let's just stay in the 1A ranks. Sean, we talked about it last week. Mackey and Ledor have both already clinched spots at state by virtue of their semifinal victories a week ago. They're actually finally going to get to play tonight in the district championship game. They've had a whole week off to prepare. It's like it's, preparing for the Super Bowl or something. They've actually had 8 days to prepare, but it's number 2 Ledor at number 1 Mackey. It'll be interesting to see how this game goes. In theory, a win by Ledor might bump their stock in the Max Preps rankings. Although I'll be honest, district tournament results so far haven't moved the needle that much from what I've seen. But either way, this is going to be a fun game tonight, but both teams are assured of their spot at state.
And then Rockland's made it, right? Rockland.
Yes. So on the backside last night, Rockland and North Gem played in the 3rd place game. Rockland won that game 38-25. So now, Sean, Rockland moves over here to this state play-in game Saturday against the Wampus Cats from Clark Fork. Sean, I got to call their championship title last night up here in North Idaho. They'll play 3 p.m. Mountain Time Saturday at McCall Donnelly High School. And guess what, Sean? We're going to be broadcasting this game on IdahoSports.com. So the Rockland fans that can't make the trip over, you can catch the action with Paul Kingsbury himself Saturday.
The one and only.
Yeah, the big boss.
Wow.
So gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and going back to that, I think, man, I don't know. You've kind of got this feeling all year that it could be Ledor's time, right? That's kind of how I've got it in my gut reaction. But Mackey's kind of they were the number one team in the preseason. They've kind of shown that, so Mackey will look to kind of maybe win this game. But in my gut, I just have this feeling Ledor could upset here. But I don't know.
You have been on the Ledor train all year, Sean. Your confidence is unwavering when it comes to these Ledor Mustangs. And I think the most impressive part about what Ledor has done this year is that they lost their two of the most impactful players in school history to graduation last year. And so they brought back some players from last year's team, but it is a whole new team and kind of a whole new identity and a whole different way that they're winning now. So, you have to tip your hat. These teams played twice in the regular season, Sean. Mackey won both times by 20 the first time, by 12 the second time. Can Ledor narrow the gap even more in matchup number 3? We will find out tonight in Mackey. So should be a good one. All right. And nothing else from Sean there. So we're going to move on.
Well, I already said, I feel like my gut, Leto's going to win. I don't want to backtrack. I don't want to go, Maggie's going to win. I feel like we've been talking about Ledor for a couple of years. I know it's a different team, but I just have like a gut feeling that they could get it. But you know what? Both teams make it to state, right?
Right.
So it's kind of inconsequential because Max Preps is going to rank it. It's not like a district champ gets a spot. So in reality, they both get a go. So it'll be interesting to see where that pans out in that bracket nonetheless, right?
Yeah, if everything holds form here, they just ran an update today, Sean, on Max Preps. They run twice a week during basketball season, I think. Right now, you're looking at Ledor is actually ranked ahead of Mackey in the Max Preps rankings, and Mackey's
wouldn't that be interesting if Ledor won, or if Ledor lost but then gets the higher seed at state? That just doesn't make sense, does it?
Not a good look if Mackey beats Ledor 3 times in 1 year and is still ranked below them. Now they are very close in the rating. Ledor is 3.97, Mackey is 3.61. I have no idea what that means, but that's how close they are in the rankings. Let's see. As it stands right now, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're looking at Mackey as the 7 seed, Ledor as the 6. Most likely. So they'd be on that same side of the bracket. But also, and then Rockland would be 8. So really the last 3 teams would all be from East Idaho if Rockland also got in. But there could be an upset or 2 along the way too, and everybody could move up as well. So I don't know. Lots to sort out there still. So, all right, let's go to the 2A race where congratulations are in order for the Bear Lake Bears, Sean. They clinched the District 5 championship last night. They beat Soda Springs for the second time in the last week or so, 42-33. Bear Lake is moving on to state as the 2 seed out of the district. Soda Springs will now get to play West Jefferson in a state play-in game Saturday at Blackfoot. I like Soda to advance to state here. And this is where you get to gloat a little bit. You have been on Bear Lake all season. I have been banging the drum for Soda Springs. I have to concede here. The Cardinals lost not once, but twice to Bear Lake at districts. The Bears are playing some really good basketball right now. Yeah,
they're playing really well. And, they've punched their ticket. And and I'll agree with you. I think Soda Springs is probably going to come away out of that playing game against West J. And it's gonna be kind of funny to me too. I think if all goes to the chalk here, right, you're gonna see Bear Lake and Soda Springs probably playing again at state, right? I think you're gonna see a rematch, and that's what I was thinking about when I was looking at this earlier. Is like, man, they're probably gonna end up. They could be on the same side of the bracket, right? And it'll be kind of interesting. But congrats to Bear Lake. They've had a great season. I think that's a tough conference. You had Malad that wasn't a slouch either. And did a good job. So Yeah, Bear Lake coming through, got their ticket. Nonetheless, they're going to state, and it'll be fun to watch them.
Yeah, right now Bear Lake would be the 2 seed at state. Soda would be the 6 seed. So yes, on the same side of the bracket there. Hey, I'm just glad that, Coal Valley Christian finally leapfrogged North Fremont. No disrespect to the Huskies, but for Coal Valley to be ranked below them and Melba was a little head scratching. So I don't know, maybe Max Preps is slowly getting it figured out finally. Maybe all of our ranting we've done on the Prepcasts for the last 2 weeks got somebody's attention and they said, we need to fix this.
Well, I mean, when we get to boys, I have some ranting about it, but
okay. Well, let's move to the nuke then, the Nuclear Conference District 6 up north. Earlier this week, Tuesday night on IdahoSports.com, we had live coverage of North Fremont's district championship win over West Jefferson, 60-43, the final. Really, North Fremont's toughest matchup in the tournament came right here in this undefeated semifinal against Ryrie, the 3 seed, last Thursday, right after we recorded, Sean, 51-48. They barely hung on. The story of the tournament is West J. They came for blood. They took out the 2 seed Firth, 51-43. Then they took out the 3 seed Ryrie by a point, 47-46. Now it's West J. Are they going to continue to be a team of destiny here in this play-in game against Soda Springs? We'll wait and see. Joel Richardson was part of the broadcast of this district championship between North Fremont and West J. And he said, West J is a few years away. Very good team, but young. He likes Soda, and he saw West J with his own eyes. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, and I tuned into some of that too, and I think Soda's just a little better at this point as far as what they have as a team and classmen and like that. But West J seems to be like this young team that we come back next year. Where are they sitting in this bracket, right? That's what I kind of see from that. But what a run, and just to get there. And this conference, this 2A District 6 conference is I always feel like there's an upset that brews in here, and in this year it's West J.
Yeah, really fun group there. Coach Jelena Dixon recently crossed 100 career wins in her coaching career for the Panthers as well. So congratulations to Coach Dixon.
You're going to need a coaching tab too.
That's part of what we want to do with the record book too, is coaching records as well. But
because you only hear about it like towards the end, right? It'd be kind of cool to just kind of have a kind of a living document, if you will, on that stuff to kind of know, because just Idaho is just chock full of just legends, right? Just legends sitting there, and sometimes you don't even know it. And what a great avenue to have that up there so people can say, oh, this is why they're always good. They've got this coach.
Legends of the game, if you will. All right. That might be trademarked.
HSA, I think does that Legends of the Game.
Yes, they do every year at state. They play that really dramatic music, and then the Legends of the Game, the 1991 Malad Dragons, or whatever.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. All right. Let's go 3A, Sean. Snake River moving on to state. They beat American Falls in the district championship Tuesday night, 45-34. American Falls, it just doesn't matter. Every game is close. I mean, they beat Marsh Valley by 8. They lose by Snake River to 3 in overtime. They beat Marsh Valley by 8 again. They lose to Snake River by 9. This play-in game Saturday between American Falls and South Fremont at Blackfoot is going to be a really even matchup. I'm having a hard time picking who I think will win. Officially, in my bracketology, I've gone with South Fremont, but American Falls and South Fremont did split in the regular season when they played each other. So that's going to be a really interesting play-in game. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's focus on Snake River. The big news for the Panthers is Riley Edlifson, the reigning 3A player of the year, all-state point guard, really the key piston in the engine, as it were. She's missed the last month with a broken hand. Well, she came back in this game right here, Tuesday night. Now, she played about half the game, 6 points, 6 assists, but just the fact that she was out there that changes the calculus a little bit for Snake River.
Yeah, you've got the best player in 3A, even if they're not at 100%, you've got to account for them. You've got to account for it, right? That's changes your defense. It changes everything. It gives a boost to your team. Like, we've seen Snake River play. I've seen Snake River play. The team feeds off her. She's cheering when the other players get baskets. I'm sure when she was on the bench, it was like having another coach, right? You've got, she's not just going out scoring her 20 points, sitting down, drinking some water. She's she's the lifeblood of that team. So when you get her back, whatever capacity, that's just a boost. When you're a player and you can pass it to your best player, it's a lot easier to be out there on the court. Regardless of how healthy they are, just knowing that they can be out there and support you changes your mindset. So, that's great for Snake River. So I think they'll be all right. I think they'll have enough time to settle in and, defend.
Yeah, if we look at the Max Preps rankings for 3A, Snake River is probably going to be the 2 seed at state. And the team that's going to be number 1, Sean, is this team right here, Teton, your District 6 champions. They beat North Fremont in the championship game also Tuesday night, 65-40. The big story here was Saturday, South Fremont went to Sugar Salem and knocked out the Diggers by a point, 58-57. Sugar Salem took 3rd out of 3 at districts. When was the last time you could say that?
Not any time since I've been doing this gig.
Yeah.
And I mean, this conference was just crazy. Sugar beat Teton at one point. We were talking about Sugar, and obviously Teton took care of business when it all is said and done and got there. But you've got a Sugar team that would be highly qualified, I think, to compete at the state level, sitting at home. And you just got to credit South Fremont for kind of slowly tricking along here in this 3-team conference and finding a way to get a chance to make it to state. So, congrats to them.
Yeah, this is a really underrated South Fremont team that hasn't gotten their due all year long. Brooke Bailey has done a phenomenal job coaching these girls. I actually reached out to her and asked, just for a couple of stats from the game on Saturday and a couple of quotes that I could use for my bracketology write-up. I'm doing a daily bracketology update where I kind of highlight the big stories from the night that was in district tournament action, and then I kind of update the field. Hey, here's who's clinched. Here's who I'm predicting will still make it. And she was like really excited that we reached out, and she said, here's what she said. After our first win during the regular season against Sugar, we were told it was a fluke. Now, in this game,
it was Saturday, you that said it, probably.
I didn't. No,
I'm just joking.
I didn't say anything. Now, in this game, Saturday, South Fremont got down 17 points and had to come back the hard way. And then not only that, they lost one starter, Lily Christensen, to 5 fouls with about 5 minutes to go. And then a minute later, they lost another starter, Kensley Neville, to foul out. And so they're down 2 starters. They're down 17 at one point. They climb the mountain and come back. So here's what Coach Bailey said. After our first win during the regular season against Sugar, we were told it was a fluke. Being down 17 points in a district tournament, having 2 starters foul out, not sure I would call our win a fluke. This team is made up of tough players who have grit and show mental toughness time and time again. And that convinced me. That's why I like South Fremont to advance to state via the play-in game.
Yeah, and when you get those, those players that foul out and then other players have to come in and step in, that's when you see the character of your team. That's when you get that grit. And when teams can do that, the sky's the limit. And you've just got to be super proud of that. So I like that too. And I like South Fremont.
Yeah, just a great moment for that program. So long they've been in the shadow of Sugar Salem. So congratulations there. Let's wrap up with 5A, Sean. This was another district championship we had on our broadcast stream Tuesday night on IdahoSports.com. Rigby beats Madison 62-34. A marked improvement for Madison after dropping 51-11 in the undefeated semifinal the Thursday prior. Rigby's going to go to state. They are going to be in the mix for the title, as is pretty much every team that shows up there. The bigger question is, can Madison get past Eagle in this state play-in game? And I don't see it. I would love to be wrong, Bobcat Nation. I just don't see it. But tell me why Madison could get there.
Madison's just a strong team. Like, they play as a team. Their defense is good as a team. I think it's hard. I think we knew going into this, whatever team came out second out of 5A and 5 and 6 was going to have a tough feat, because so many of the Boise teams are it's just very interchangeable. Like, this could be a different team from Boise, and we'd almost kind of be saying the same thing. And we know the Eagle team's strong, but Madison is a team. They're going to take their chips and they're going to go play hard. And anything's possible when you go play these playing games at 1:00 is it in Burley? There's not going to be a big crowd. Well, Madison actually travels pretty well. That's one thing. I bet you there's a lot of Madison fans there, but it's not going to be this big crowd. It's not going to be normal. And sometimes that unnormalcy helps that team that's the underdog. Like, we're in this. So that would be my reasons why Madison could kind of come away.
And I guess, you're convincing me more and more as you talk it through. I'm looking at their schedule, and they lost to Rigby 4 times, but Rigby's really good. They did, they beat Pocatello. They did beat Blackfoot. They lost to Sandpoint by 7. They didn't play a lot of 5A teams except for, the teams in their league. In fact, they didn't. They played all 4A opponents besides that, but they played really good 4A teams. I don't know. I'm still leaning Eagle. That's just what my gut tells me, but we will see. Okay. Before we get to boys basketball, this is the East Idaho Prepcast presented by No Vape, Idaho Public Television's campaign to raise awareness about the dangers of youth vaping. Be smart. Don't start. Sean, did you know that vaping companies use different flavors to hide the nicotine and chemicals in vapes? So then, your brain gets all hooked on it and you get addicted. They've got all these like, oh, we've got maple syrup and pancakes flavor. We've got grape. It doesn't matter. It's all poison.
Yeah. It's, it's putting the lipstick on the pig, right? It's still a pig. You just can't mask things. Advertising is one thing, but at the end of the day, it's not good for you. It's has a bad result. And it's unfortunate that, cheap tricks don't always result in, good results.
Yeah. So parents, if you're out there watching or listening and you're having a hard time, figuring out if your child is vaping, a couple of signs that might point you in the right direction. Is there a sweet, fruity, or minty smell in your child's room? Good chance there might be a vape pen. Are they always thirsty? Do they have dry mouth? Could just be that they're thirsty, but that's also a side effect of persistent vape use. Cough, nosebleeds. Are they more moody? Teenagers I know can be moody already, but there's a full list of warning signs that you
going to the bathroom a lot.
Yes,
is also a big one.
Yes, for sure. So if you want more tips on how to discover and find out if your child's vaping, you can go to No Vape. Just type in No Vape, KNOW Vape. Also, Sean, No Vape's got a video contest for teens. Now, if you're from Idaho and you're between the ages of 13 and 18, you can enter the No Vape video contest to expose the shadowy commercial tobacco marketing tactics behind vaping. We've been talking about this a lot, along with the known and unknown health effects, the misinformation about vaping, and how addictive and harmful vaping can be for teens. Just create and upload your 90-second vape bashing masterpiece, and you could win a portion of the more than $10,000 in prize money being awarded. Learn more about the contest, rules, and guidelines, get tips and research links, and enter their contest. Deadline to enter is April 1st. Winners will be announced May 1st. And again, you can find out more information by going to No Vape's website. Really cool video contest.
Love it.
Any Steven Spielbergs out there, this is your chance.
I'm a more Christian Noel guy, you know what I mean? But yeah, anything would be great.
Yeah. Are you talking about Christopher Nolan, the Batman guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Batman, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan. I kind of like him.
Yeah, he's good for sure. Okay, Sean, boys basketball. I do have one district tournament to share with you. It started last night. Any guesses?
Yeah, is Grace Lutheran part of it?
It's our favorite, the 1A D2 Rocky Mountain Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had play-in games last night, Sean. Number 7 seed Shellband beats number 10 seed American Heritage 60-27. And then number 8 Taylor's Crossing beats number 9 Clark County 50-35. So now we've got the first round of games Friday night. It is Taylor's Crossing at Rockland 8-1. We have Shellband at Water Springs 7-2. Mackey at North Gem 6-3, and then Grace Lutheran at Ledor 5-4. These regular season standings got kind of wild, Sean. We had what ended up being a 3-way tie for 4th, 5th, and let me double check, make sure I got this right. Yeah, 4th, 5th, and 6th place between Mackey, Grace Lutheran, and Ledor. They all went 4-4 in league play. Ledor wins the tiebreaker, Grace Lutheran second, and dropping to third in the 3-way tie was Mackey. So, I mean, it just shows how even this league really was throughout the year.
Yeah, so the numbers in the tournament don't probably mean as much as maybe some other ones, right? You can kind of throw away those numbers, except for maybe like, Rockland, I think, is definitely the number 1 team, and Water Springs right there too at number 2. I think those numbers are pretty good, but the rest of them, you kind of can throw that ranking out the door however you set. I think any given night they can win.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, a team I'm pegging as a dark horse. I don't like their first round matchup here with Water Springs, but I think on the backside of the bracket they could get a couple teams. Showband. I'm telling you, look out for Showband. They went 3-5 in league play in the regular season. But last night in that opening win over American Heritage, Braden Brunette scored 25 points in the victory.
Well, there you go.
Balling out. So that's, I don't know.
Yeah, Showband's a team, that can, if they can get hot, like if their shooters can hit shots, they're going to be competitive with anyone in a given night. It's just, they can start getting shots early and those guys continue on hitting, they're tough. But I wanted to say, though, I wanted to give some credits to our officials, because look how many officials we got going on Friday night. I'm just really glad we have enough officials that can do all these games on one night, and there's a lot of games this Friday as well too, for other divisions. So I have a couple officials that watch this, but I wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to them for being able to, take away their Friday night and get all these games done and get these tournaments done. So thanks to the officials.
Yeah, and I think typically, in the girls tournament, these games all got played on Saturday, but I think they pivoted to Friday because there's all these state play-in games. And, for example, Rockland is going to want to travel to watch their girls play. So you can't have a boys game the same day. So it makes sense to put them all on Friday, I thought, as well. So, okay. The only other district bracket that's actually been seeded is at the 4A level, Sean, 4A District 5. Pretty straightforward here. Preston wins the league at 4-0. They sweep the season series with Pocatello. They defend their home floor last week and win by 10, 67-57. They just beat Century last night, 54-38. Now you've got, Century could still finish second. They would have to beat Pocatello. I think Pocatello. Yeah, I think Pocatello probably takes second there, but we'll see. But either way, they're going to have to turn around and play each other again in the 2-3 matchup right away next Tuesday. So they're going to play each other twice in like a 5-day span here.
Yeah. Kind of funny story. It was at that game, Century versus Preston girls the other night, Tuesday night. And Dan Hubbard, who does, the play-by-play calls for that Preston team, comes up to me and he's like, can we beat, this is a question I don't know how many times I've been asked by different people. Can we beat Pokey twice? What do we, everyone's asking me like, I know, but, I just, it's going to be the question on everyone's mind. Can you beat for Pokey too? Can we beat Preston twice? Or, for Preston, can we beat Pokey twice? If Century doesn't come through. It's very, but the best thing I saw was that game versus Preston versus Pokey in Preston. It's on video, and they do an interview with Ty Jones at the end of the game, right? And it reminded me of a Larry Bird thing where he just was straight faced. Like they're all like, "You beat Pokey twice, aren't you excited?" And Ty Jones is just like, "We're probably gonna have to play him 2 more times," and that. And that was the best thing I could, like, he wasn't, they just beat Pokey, it's been this kind of hill to kind of come away with this, this end of season district, winning, being number 1. And he's just like, "No, we still got to beat him twice." And just straight face, like, didn't mean anything, because he knew the mountain they have to climb is still ahead of him. And I thought that was great. Just great from the coach Jones. And we know he's a great coach and done such a phenomenal job in Preston, but just, we still got to beat him twice.
Yeah, and that's just his demeanor. He's very even keeled. Joe Green is too. Pokey. He's always just like, we played all right. They can win by 40. And like, we played all right. Nothing. And honestly, Ryan Frost is too. This league has 3 very even keeled, steady, mellow personalities leading the teams. That's why they're all so talented.
And it was interesting too to see the Max Preps, because I looked at it this morning, and it's different. It's different now, right? And now it has who does it have as number 1 for 4A?
Shelley. Oh no, that's girls. Sorry, I was looking at girls still. I gotta switch over to boys here.
Let me get it. I can get it too, but it was different. And now it has. Let's see what it has. Oh no, it has Pocatello number 1, Preston 2, and Hillcrest 3, which I find interesting, considering Hillcrest beat Preston twice, and Preston has now beaten Pocatello twice, but Pocatello's number 1. So someone was trying to ask me that. "Oh, don't you know?" I'm like, I don't know, but I found that kind of interesting. And what would be even crazier, right? If, say, it ended today and Pocatello didn't make it to state, the number 1 seeded team in Max Preps didn't make the state. Can you imagine? That would just be kind of crazy. I don't know if that's ever happened where we have the number 1 team not make it, as far as these rankings have went. So that's something even crazy. There's just so many little storylines coming out of this 3-team conference. It's just crazy. While you have Hillcrest, which I think right now is definitely the number 1 team, they're firing all cylinders. They've beaten Preston twice, and they've been kind of close, but I haven't really seen any chinks in their armor when it comes to Idaho teams.
Ryan Skaggs, our North Idaho Prepcaster, wants to know, does Max Preps even know?
Don't you know?
One guy
Ryan knows.
The guy who made the formula does. I'm not sure anybody else knows.
But is it like the computer from Space Odyssey? You got to talk to it. "No, Brandon, this is not correct."
Wow, that was really creepy. That was good though. I like that. Who knows? Anyways, I'm getting more and more emails from people asking about Max Preps, and I'm like,
people ask me too, and I know as much as I look it up, and from what I understood, in my mind, I thought head-to-head counted the most. I had heard multiple sources tell me that. But every time I look at it, it doesn't seem like head-to-head matters the most. So I don't know.
Ryan says he's buried that formula with Hoffa. That's, of course, Jimmy Hoffa.
Well, at least someone can get a reference that dates them more than me. So that I love that.
Oh man, yeah. So literally, we know as much about Max Preps as you do. I mean, and I'm getting like coaches emailing me like, "I've broken down the data and our plus minus is," and I'm like, I know.
Follow the science.
Right. Oh, but all the coaches just want the formula so they can manipulate the system. Right. That's what the IHSA board.
Most swords have 2 edges. Which one are you going to use, right? So I think it's better to have the full sword than just half of it.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, we got to get out of here. Ryan says, "You calling me old Kane?" Short answer, yes, and that's the last word. We're gonna get the last word in, and then we're gonna wrap up because you got to go. You are gonna be on the call tonight for Shelley hosting Blackfoot in the District 6 championship game tonight, 7 o'clock on IdahoSports.com. It's going to be a really fun one. Enjoy the game tonight, Sean.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I was there when they met the last time, and it was a super close game. It had half-court shots, it had 3-pointers, it had Brindley Cannon being Brindley Cannon, it had Marley Piper being Marley Piper, which I think is one of the most exciting matchups in 4A basketball period is when you get Marley Piper and Brindley Cannon going against each other. It's a whole different level of basketball. It's a level of basketball where a lot of boys coaches goes, oh, those two girls would play on my team. And right. That's a credit to them.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end it there. Enjoy the competitions this weekend, everybody. Travel safely. Good luck to all the teams that are fighting still to get to state and girls hoops. Next week, Sean, no East Idaho Prepcast. In its place will be our traditional girls basketball state tournament preview special. And you're going to be a part of that because you're broadcasting this year. So you don't know that yet, but I'm sending an email out as soon as I'm done with this.
All right. I will. I've got my ideas for East Idaho. Everyone else, whatever.
Well, it'll be by classification. So you and I are just going to talk the 5A.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Rigby.
Right.
There's 3 really good teams, and Rigby's one of them for 5A. I'll give you a little fortune cookie there.
Okay. And if you want more fortune cookies, you're gonna have to tune in tonight to Shelley and Blackfoot. Also tonight, Grace and Butte County at 7 o'clock as well in the High Desert Conference Championship game, also at 7 o'clock. If you want to see all the games we're broadcasting, just click on the Game Streams tab on the homepage at IdahoSports.com. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the East Idaho Prepcast, everybody. For Sean Kane, I'm Brandon Baney. We'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.